Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. This is lesson 1 from the English vocabulary in use pre-intermediate and for intermediate level books. So let's study the book first and then we um, explain the things that you may not be able to understand.
A. Using this book.
It's a good idea to have a routine when you use this book. For example, a weekly routine when you study a new unit for at least 30 to 45 minutes. A daily routine when you revise that unit. You may only need to revise for 5 or 10 minutes each time.
Okay, now as you have understood, whenever you start a new habit, yeah, for example, learning a new word, from a book, it is a new habit. It's not easy. Like you may do it like one day or one week when you get excited, but usually most people will give up after one week. So if you don't want that to happen to you, then you have to develop a routine, which is something you do often and in the same way. So now, try to answer these questions. I will answer for myself, and then maybe you can compare your answer. So, how often can you spend at least half an hour or 45 minutes on a unit? To be honest, because I have a full-time job and I'm a married person with children, I think I probably can spend maximum 2-3 times a week for the lessons. Second question, how often can you revise? How much time can you spend when you revise? Where will you do it? Well, probably I will revise mostly at home, and I don't have much time to revise, but I know that revision is really important, and I really want to start revising some of the words that I learned because when you revise, you remember it for a longer period of time, and that's really helpful. You don't forget the words immediately or after some time. So if I start, I will probably start with just 5 minutes, maybe once a week, and then maybe do it like more regularly.
B. Studying a new unit.
When you are studying a unit for the first time, you need to be active when you are learning. With a new word or phrase, say it aloud and repeat it to yourself silently. If you have the e-book that goes with the book, use it to check the pronunciation. Use a highlighter pen to mark words you think are important or difficult. Write down new words and phrases in your notebook. Always try to write an example sentence for new words. You can choose an example from this book or a dictionary, but an example from your own life will often help you to remember a word. For example, I shared a flat with an Australian girl when I was in London last year. Do exercises in pencil, then you can rub them out using a rubber and do them again later. This is a good way to revise vocabulary.
Okay, now as you have understood, I will explain a little bit. Like oftentimes, right, English learners ask, okay, how can I learn new words? What is the best way? And here, given, if I'm not mistaken, 5 suggestions. First, when you learn, say it aloud so you can hear it, right? It improves your pronunciation. And then say it silently, you know, and then use highlighter if you think that word is difficult, and then check out the definition. Always write down the new words. Always. You cannot learn the words like orally, I don't know, unless you have super brain. And then always try to write an example sentence. Like for example, you have learned that word. Let's say we have a word routine, right? So like from the official dictionaries, I don't recommend at all dictionaries.
University.
So check the
Routine.
definition. Usual or fixed way of doing things, a regular series of movements, right? So this is something, and check out the sample sentences. There's no fixed routine at work. Every day is different. He checks under the car for bumps as a matter of routine. Right here, we have more examples if you don't understand the meaning. Check out the pronunciation, check out how it's written, and then here, is it countable or can it be used uncountable? So it can be used in those cases. And you may check also other meanings as well, as a noun, as an adjective. My advice, and then make your own sentence, like for example, routine. I think one of the primary reasons why I cannot like prepare or learn English is that I don't have a routine yet. Every day is different for me, so it's really hard to sit down and practice learning English. So you see, guys, this is how you can improve it. And always just check, revise yourself. Here again, I will try to answer these questions, and also please pause the video and answer yourself. Like, which of these things do you do now when you're learning vocabulary? As I said, I do usually all of it. I write the word, write the definition, make a sentence, take a look at the sentences, check the pronunciation, and I take a look at sometimes the other related family words. This helps me. This helped me to remember it much better. What will you do in the future? Probably I will continue to do it, and if I can, I will find the new ways of learning it.
C. Revising a unit.
When you are revising a unit 1 or 2 days later, it is also important to be as active as possible. Test yourself. For example, look at a word and cover the meaning. Can you remember what the meaning is? If you can't, check the meaning. Then come back to the word in 5 minutes' time and test yourself again. Look at what you wrote in your notebook when you first studied the unit. Is there any new information you want to add? For example, something about the pronunciation or a common word partner. Diagrams may help you to organize some of the vocabulary differently and help you to remember it. For example, take.
So now let's take a look at it here. So we have, as you can see, it is here tips for revising unit. You can just cover the word or the meaning and then try to remember the other part. This helps. Yeah, take a look at and just revising, repeatedly really helps. Using diagrams can help, or using programs like Quizlet or flashcards, it can really help. I have tested this method and it really helps. And you can also do it with a partner. It becomes much more fun when you do it. So here is it. You see, like, you're just making a diagram of using take word in a different way. And here, do you revise vocabulary study? To be honest, I don't do it so often, but I try to do it now from now on, that I learn that it's very important. Will you try to revise more often? Yeah, of course. If I can, I will do my best to do that. Now, the final part of the lesson 1.
D. Expanding your vocabulary.
When you learn a word, for example, dirty, think of synonyms or opposites in your language. Look them up in a bilingual dictionary to find the English words. Then look up the English words in an English dictionary to check the meaning. From this, you will find that the opposite of dirty is clean. And you may also find filthy.
Okay, as you can see, expanding vocabulary, I really like this method, and to be honest, I try to use it a lot. Like, when you learn a word, do not try to learn just one word. For example, you can look at the synonyms or antonyms, or sometimes, let's say this word, right? We have got this word, I don't know, dirty, and look at it. We have got like idioms and collocations and other word phrases, and how it's used as an adverb, as an adjective, as a verb, and you can learn all of it. And you can also sometimes, for example, act, right? You can take a look at the verb endings, how this verb ends, and improve your grammar. Or you can also take a look at the word building and how it's used: action, inaction, interaction, reaction, transaction, acting, act. There's so much to learn, in one word. So you're building your vocabulary bank in a very strong way, to be honest. And look at so many ways of using the word act. So this is it. And exercise take 1.4 is just you need to use opposite, right? Antonym. Like, it's a permanent job. Permanent is something which lasts for a long period of time. So as opposite would be something which lasts for a short period of time. So let's take a look at temporary.
Temporary.
And if you can see here, compare permanent, right? It's a permanent. Yeah, I should have searched as permanent.
permanent,
And the opposite is, as you can see,
permeate,
temporary, like not lasting for a
Temporary.
long time. So this is it. And here, kind, probably unkind or cruel. So there's more than one synonym possible. And here, we can use the word as a different part of speech. We know it by slightly changing or by not changing at all. For example, advise, argue, argument, right, is a noun. Or sometimes it doesn't change at all, like train, but it could pronunciation could change, of course, like present, like depending on the pronunciation, the meaning changes. So always, for example, the best way is actually, from based on my experience also, and here it's suggested that you have to read, not like you have to, you should be reading and listening to English as much as possible. It's the best way of learning vocabulary is actually this. But of course, these books are also really helpful. They help you to learn in a systematic way. But highlighting the words when you read that book you want to read, right, or listening to a podcast or some program on YouTube, watching it with a subtitle, it really helps, and you just never get bored because it's something you enjoy, right? So do it all the time. And the last one is, yeah, this you should do it, guys. You should try to choose any topic, do it, and then answer these questions. This is it. Thank you very much. Hope the lesson was useful.